Benvenuto. Welcome to another episode of Spooky Sardinia. The story I'm going to present to you today is a story written by a Sardinian author, Maria Cinus, who graciously allowed me to translate her story so that I can present it to you today. The story was first published in a local newspaper called La Voce del Sarrabus, and I will link the original story down in the description box. For now, I want to thank Maria, so grazie Maria, and I hope you enjoy the story. This is Colostrai. Colostrai, a place with a strange name. Marina had already been there once before, many years ago, on a holiday. She had been struck by the beauty of the surroundings, struck by the silence of nature, by the dawns, and by the pink flamingos. But then, life brought her away, living a roaming existence made of sunless days. For some time now, however, her days had changed, or rather, her nights had changed. Each and every one of them brought the same dream. In the middle of the night, when she had already drifted into unconsciousness, the same scene appeared in front of her eyes. Near the pond and stream of Colostrai, there was a small stele made out of stone, which bore an inscription that she could never decipher. It was always the same. Some hours of sleep, that same dream, and then the anxious awakening. And so one day she took a decision. Her parents had left her a discreet amount of money, which assured her a future with no financial worries. She took a 6-month leave from her job as a librarian. She had been there for a few years, and she did enjoy being around so many different ideas, and imagining where those pages had been written and how the writer felt. Nonetheless, at the end of September, she left for Colostrai. She was surprised that nothing had changed during her absence, as if time there moved more slowly. The only change was more hotels near the salt pan, where she decided to lodge. It was from there that she started her search. She started taking long walks that always ended up in the same place, on the seashore, looking onto the blue and clear sea that made her think about time, the past, and the future. From time to time, she would encounter a big white dog that his owner always let loose. She had always been used to dealing with animals since she was a child, so she could overcome her fear when she first met him, although not without apprehension. She would often chit-chat with a shepherd whom she always met. She walked with no destination, without an exact aim in mind, as if she didn't want to face the real reason that brought her there. One night, she had prolonged her evening walk, and the mountains had already started projecting their shadows on the road. She was walking on the paved road. Some sporadic cars would overtake her, and the driver would curiously look at her, that lonely young woman, hoping for an unlikely introduction. The silence around her made her steps sound even more distinct. But what really made her shiver was the sound of other heavy steps on top of hers. She turned around, frightened but resolute. Nothing was there, apart from the top of the eucalyptus trees, kissed by the last rays of sun. She just left the main road when the weather turned and a storm started. Like in a summer storm, the paths became streams. The clay-rich soil became too soft, and Marina walked with some difficulty. She went through some hedges where only white roses were trying to grow in between the bramble. She found some shelter in an abandoned house. The door was ajar, probably pried open by a hunter. She did not find the courage to go inside, staying underneath the open patio. However, the rain became more intense, and Marina decided to overcome her fears. She went inside, and a natural silence reigned in the house. In what should have been the kitchen, she found a fireplace and an old dark red rug covered in years and years of dust. Her innate fear of spiders compelled her to lift it up in order to check that none were hiding underneath it. Instead, she discovered the handle of a trapdoor, which revealed a wooden staircase and a room. A stale, old room that smelled like death and that had its light on. It was the first time that Marina felt such an uncontrollable fear. She ran as fast as she could, and only when she was far away from the house she had the courage to look back. All the lights in the house were switched on. That night she had a restless sleep. Dreams and reality merged together, and she couldn't discern one from the other. She had the same dream again, but this time, next to the still, there was a man who looked at her with his blue eyes, sweet and yet full of sadness. And then, without saying a word, the man turned around and disappeared. The next morning, Marina went to look for the shepherd. When she found him, she bombarded him with questions. She wanted to know about the house, who it belonged to, who lived in it. The shepherd sat on a stone, and while rolling a cigarette, he started telling the story of Mr. John and his young wife, two Irish people who came in Sardinia on holiday. He told her about a motorbike accident in which the wife lost her life and that of their unborn child. Since then, Mr. John had become a writer that didn't want to write anymore. He brought the house, and for years he didn't want to see anyone, until one day he disappeared, and no one knew anything about him anymore. Marina knew she had to go back to the house. She begged the shepherd to go with her. When they arrived, to her surprise, she noticed the violent rain of the previous day had unearthed a small tombstone in which the following was carved: "Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild with a fairy, hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand." I hope you enjoyed this episode of Spooky Sardinia. If you did, please do not hesitate to leave a like, a comment, and please do not hesitate to share this story with whoever would like to see. If you would like to see more, please do not hesitate to subscribe to my channel. There will be more if the interest is high. And for now, I wish you a pleasant night, and I hope to see you again in the next video, which hopefully won't take as long as this one to come out. I will see you next time. Biri.